Moving on now to global large cap, and it's worth just looking at how markets get classified before we get into this topic. So there are two key index providers. There's MSCI, which is Morgan Stanley Capital Investors, and they obviously produce the MSCI or MSCI index, and markets get classified between developed markets, which are ones where you can be confident of the rule of law. They've got well-regulated markets, accounting standards are good, and market surveillance is good. So you can rely on it. There's about 23 of those, and they're all the big markets you would be familiar with. So most of Western Europe, North America, Canada and US in North America, Australia, New Zealand in this part of the world, Japan, Singapore and Hong Kong in Asia. And then there's a bunch of emerging markets, which are markets that are not quite as developed. And there are some of those in Eastern Europe, so Poland, Czech Republic, Greece, Hungary, Turkey, and more of the South American and Asian countries. So they're getting there. Some of those are fairly large markets in the scheme of things, but less well regulated, less efficient, and so there are some opportunities there. But the advantage of them is that they tend to grow faster, and GDP growth is a big generator of equity returns. But the point of putting this slide up is there are some subtle differences between how MSCI and FTSE, or Financial Times London Stock Exchange, classify countries. So, for example, South Korea is treated as a developed market by FTSE or FTSE, and it's an emerging market for MSCI purposes. So if you're mixing funds that track MSCI indexes and FTSE indexes, you do have to be careful you don't either go overweight some companies or underweight some companies. So if you linked a MSCI developed fund with a FTSE emerging market, you're going to miss out on South Korea. And South Korea is a particularly important growth economy. And you may double up on some of the Eastern European countries. So take that with care and look at what's in these indexes.